Hey everybody in Fractal Land, this is Moke from Moke's Custom Presets. No, it's not Santa, but we are the same age. I just wanted to say how honored I am that Fractal Audio included me in their Gift of Tone holiday giveaway. The preset I came up with came about from a lot of conversations on the Fractal forums and on Facebook groups about the fact that the FM3 and the FM9 only have one pitch block, and it started me thinking that it might be possible to have that pitch block exist in more than one location in the signal chain. So this is what I came up with. Let's dive in, take a deeper look. This is Moke's magical moving pitch block. This is the FM9 version, but the FM3 version is the same. The AxeFX 3 version adds a second pitch block to do down tuning in front of this whole grid, and I believe there's a few extra effects added because of the extra CPU available. So what's going on here? Let me go to a picture here. Here's a screenshot. So the way this is set up is these two multiplex blocks can select which row they will accept and block all the others. And so what's going on the pre-routing in this particular scene, which is a rhythm scene with the whammy is before the amp block, and the way this is accomplished is this multiplexer block is only listening to row 2 right now. So this one is blocked, so only row 2 enters, goes through the pitch block and a filter block that I have working in conjunction with the whammy to cut down on some high end when the pedal is toe down, which brings it up 2 octaves in this particular case, and it helps pull a lot of excess high end off the top of it so that it's not quite as ice piggy. The next multiplexer block is only listening to row 3, so row 2 is blocked, so its only path is through here and then on, goes through to the amp block, and then this send return comes back to here, and it just continues straight on through the path. These two volume blocks, they are set to mute when they're bypassed, so having this one bypassed keeps any signal from this particular chain going on to the cab block. It only comes from the return. Now in post routing, everything switches so that this multiplex block is only listening to row 4. This one is only listening to row 2, so the others are blocked out. So now it goes past the pitch block, right on through into the amp, comes back over to this send return, returns here. Now it goes through the multiplex block, through the pitch block, which is occurring after the amp block now. In this particular case, it's going through a stereo detune model. And this volume block is engaged, so now this signal can go through, but this one is muted, so this dry signal or unaffected signal does not go through. It only goes through the pitch block. So that's the difference between the pre and the post routing. There are 8 scenes. There's 3 rhythm scenes with a whammy and a post stereo detune, and then there's a solo without any pitch shifting going on, but it brings in the drive and the delay and a filter block that's boosting some mids and the overall level a bit. These other 4 scenes are 4 different pitch examples: pre, post, post, and pre, so that you can hear them in their different configurations. The cab block in this preset is a stereo cab block. It's using the same IR in both sides, but they're panned hard left and hard right, and it's set to stereo input so that any stereo imaging that's coming from the pitch shifter when it's in the post configuration will maintain that stereo image on through. If you decide to use a different amp or cab, just remember that the cab needs to be set up stereo in order to preserve that stereo pitch shifting, and if there's any panning in any of the other harmony instances, those will be collapsed to mono. So just so you realize that the cab block really needs to be stereo in order for this to work as intended. Another thing of interest is this filter block that I had to add to keep an issue from happening between the two multiplexers. As we're switching from pre to post for a few milliseconds, there's a bit of a feedback loop that would happen and have this squealing noise. So in order to get rid of that, I added this filter block, and all it's doing is turning down the volume and then back up again, and it takes about 30 milliseconds in order to accomplish this and get rid of that problem with the feedback loop. So every time you change between a pre or a post configuration, this pitch block will turn down the volume real quick and then back up again, which unfortunately gives you a little bit of a gap between the scene changes, but that's just part of the course for a weird setup like this. Now let's hear what they sound like.